Now another good source is Google Fonts. I'm going to click on this, and similar to Node Squirrel, it aggregates a number of free fonts that you can use in your website. So let's say we want to use Roboto here. We can click Add to Collection, and then Use, and we can select which versions of the font we want to include. Now remember how when we changed font weight in our CSS, we could make our text thicker or thinner, but we could really only do 100 for thin, and then bumping it up to 200 or 300 didn't do anything, but we could go up to 400 and that would change it. Well, that's because the font includes different variations of thickness in the font file itself. And here we can choose which versions we want to add. So let's say we want a thin one, and we want a bold, and an ultra bold. We can select all of those, but the more we select, the larger the font file is going to be. And so it's indicating here that the page load time will go up a bit because our font file size is going up. We can scroll down. Chances are you'll leave the character set at the default. And the way that Google Fonts works is that it hosts a CSS file as well as the font files, and you add them to your project by using a link tag, like we've done with our own style sheets. So far, we've only used style sheets that are part of our local project, but we can also point to remote files as well, and that's what's happening here. Now, this will add another external file that our browser is going to have to download from a server. It won't be our own server, but it still is an additional download, which means that it will slow down the website at least a little bit. The more external links we have, the longer it takes to grab the resources for our site to render completely. So the disadvantage to this option is that we will have to have one more external resource. Whereas if we used a web font with Font Squirrel, for example, everything would be bundled in with our original CSS, so we wouldn't have this additional resource. The benefit to using a hosted font like Google Fonts, though, is that we don't have to manage the font file. It's very easy to add this into our code. Just copy this and paste it in, and you're set. As we scroll down, it shows us how to use this font family inside of our code, and it's simply by setting font family to Roboto Sans Serif. So both of these solutions are good, but it's important to weigh the benefits and disadvantages of using a hosted font versus using fonts that you yourself are hosting.